Heads together. You can see the map. We're talking to Caribbean, CARICOM, and South American countries in Group 2. Heads Together. Heads Together is a mental health initiative launched in the UK in 2016, spearheaded by the Royal Foundation of the Prince and Princess of Wales. It aims to dismantle stigma around mental health, promote open conversations, and provide practical resources. Here are Prince William, Prince Harry, and Princess Kate. They have lost Princess Diana, and they're trying to keep their heads together. Heads Together Group 2, Anguilla, Antigua, Barbados, Belize, Bermuda, Cayman Islands, etc., Jamaica, etc., are Group 2, especially because we see that the American military presence was in the Caribbean. The AI also told us that the Nazis fled to Argentina, Brazil, Chile, and Paraguay. Of course, China and Russia are communist. In the 1960s, Jamaican patois, one refers to the oneness of Jah, God, and of creation. So the DeepSeek AI also knows what Jamaicans are talking about when they say one love. One love is the slogan for Jamaica. It's how we live, that's our community, that's our culture. So Nazism and communism could not be compatible with one love. Those systems are philosophically, morally, and historically incompatible with one love. But that does leave a lot of other countries in the Caribbean and in South America. I did see some audits. There were 4 audits. One was a video about the currencies, a video about development, a video about debt, and a video about Chinese debt. And if you look at all the countries and their different amount of debts, you see that after they went into Africa to pull financially out of Africa, they went into the Caribbean to also pull. And the Jamaican dollar was higher than the US dollar when I was a teenager. So I can clearly see financial pull. I also worked for the government of Jamaica in the summer when I was 17 and 18. And I worked for the European Union, who was sending tranches of money for small business. So if you look closely at what's happening in the world, we have to remember there's 196 countries. And I try to talk to the public, but Americans do not care about the 196 countries. They only care about their job, their house, and going to Walmart. I feel that I sent out an email and I said, do you think that at any time we did incubate genius? And I mentioned 4 people. And I did not get a response yet, but I decided to make this video because it has to go out. So my son tested gifted at 6 years old at this school, Hagen Ranch Elementary School. And his father took him out of that school and out of that house. So 2 out of 3 of these children were gifted children. 2 of these children were gifted. One is now a PhD in neurosurgery and the other one is dead. And I have other videos about my son's abuse. He was not permitted to speak to a judge in a court and his final death. So here's my son with my grandmother. Before you had Superwoman and women's liberation, my grandmother sitting right there and her sister operated a restaurant, bar, and bakery in Jamaica. And they used to hire the family from the farm and different places and incubate the babies, take them from other members of the family so they learn how to work and operate in the city and go on to New York or whatever. So there's my son sitting with his grandmother, and looking back, I feel that my father had 6 girls and that boy looks like him. My dad was a Cuban fighter. I should have left that boy with my father. I so regret it now. I just missed something because I was reading those Jehovah's Witness magazines and going to school at FAU. I missed this point right here. So these are three geniuses right here. This one right here, she has a PhD. This one right here has a PhD, and this one has two master's degrees, and she's married to a judge in Washington. And so these two of these people in this picture did not grow up with their parents. They grew up in Jamaica in school. And then they went to their parents for college. So it's something I should have learned to protect my children because it was there, but I got distracted from it. That's Heads Together Group 3. It's Africa. I spoke to my friend Ligom in Ghana today, and it's so amazing to me that as soon as Trump took out US aid, that the Africans who are doctors or professors, they started to tell everything they knew. And I don't like Africa, but I like the truth. So Africa started telling the truth and the tricks and all the financial manipulations. It was super. And I want to thank Dr. Arikana Shiomborikwa because she got fired for telling the truth. So we have the African Union and we have the American military in the Caribbean, and they just changed they arrested one president and put in a different president. And I think you ought to pay attention because they did this a lot in Africa, and that was a way to disrupt and further defeat Africa. So people of the Caribbean have to get their heads together, and people of South America have to get their heads together because you will end up like Africa. So now this is what the US military has. This is a armored vehicle. It's like a tank. So the man that's in it, it's really a robot, new giant armored military robot. So USA will win in any war. And that's why when Africa was pushing through to the ICC, they should not have stopped pushing because I don't care if the judges in the United States apologize to Africa. An apology does not suffice for children not going to school for 2 years, and it does not help the children in caves who don't eat for 4 days at a time. An apology is not enough. We have to go to either the ICC or the ICJ. So the Caribbean is being disrupted, but just like Africa has 54 countries, the Caribbean and all the countries where they deported people or had military presence, that's like 31 countries. You all have to put your heads together. So these are the geniuses who started to speak. There's my favorite, Dr. Arikana Shiomborikwa from Zimbabwe. She spoke about the IMF. And I found some other financial manipulations I put in videos, and I also did an audit for the court. So let's push through to the ICC or the ICJ because the military is stacked against us. So what has happened is that the United States has disrupted the world with 194 countries having tariffs, 31 countries deportations, and US military presence in many countries. It's time to put your heads together. It is difficult because some Africans believe that Africa is forever defeated by the IMF loan interest rate exploitation and the financial manipulations. But you're not forever defeated because I see the progress in the Sahel. I see how they try to disrupt Mali and block the oil and gas. You can do it. Keep your heads together, work together. You have the advantage in Africa, gold, diamonds. You have everything to buy, everything you need, and feel the children. The children need water. They need to wash up in the morning, and they need to get water and go to school. This is Heads Together Group 4. This is a family. I'm afraid that my family had synergy in Jamaica. Then they come to the United States and they are asunder. Some in Washington, some in New York, some in the UK, some in Canada, some in Europe. We're scattered. And so we did not put our heads together. And we have to put our heads together now. We have a family group email with some friends in it. But we can see the outcome of not putting your heads together. You can't just go to Walmart, go to your job, and go home. There's more to life than that. So families and clans You have to keep value held together, promoted, supported, and increased for all members of the family, like we did in Jamaica, which caused synergy, and we had a lot of successful children all over the world. So here's another problem. 35 billion failed ecosystem. Who's $35 billion? I guess that's the taxpayers. 35 billion. We've got to put our heads together regarding this failed ecosystem, because they are bombing the cartel boats when we have 50,000 for an overdose because a doctor has to see the patient, 45,000 for an incarceration. And even the Chinese DeepSeek AI is pointing out that the ecosystem is a failed ecosystem. I am sort of always around changing lives, which helps people on drugs and alcohol. So I am witnessing the failed ecosystem directly. Whose $35 billion is it? And would bombing cartel boats solve the problem? No. I met these two young men October 25, 2025 at about 9:30 a.m. Those two guys were drinking beer and eating pork rind, and they said when we fall out, they will put us in rehab. So they're counting on the swivel door of rehab, which is 35 billion a year. And as AI progresses into the system and the marketplace, they'll have less to do. And so you'll be spending more money on the swivel door. No, I asked Chinese DeepSeek AI, whose fault was it, the supplier or the user? If the cartel does not provide narcotics, they rob Walgreens. I worked for Walgreens at the district training store for 5 years, and people brought false prescriptions in because they will get high on a prescription drug if they cannot get crack. So I told Changing Lives that Jehovah's Witnesses can prevent people from trying narcotics. They're always in Delray Beach, Atlantic Avenue, with their stands. But it worked for me because 1967 they came to Jamaica, and they told me that they had a musical presentation at a convention which showed that there were subliminal messages encouraging people to use drugs and marijuana, and they told us do not do marijuana, and it worked for me because I did not have any marijuana in Jamaica, even though marijuana is door to door in Jamaica and it's part of the Rastafarian religion. So this is what we're looking at here. We have to put our heads together regarding this failed ecosystem of our children taking drugs and narcotics. I also think that the problem is poor parenting, bad religion, or mental problems that also cause people to try drugs and alcohol. I want to thank the 10 countries which are giving visa free entry to Jamaicans for 30 to 90 days. And I hope that some Jamaicans can develop this into work visas, because I listened to the video. I hope it's true. Haiti, I want to thank you for encouraging me to do a French broadcast. I'll be sure to do that. Thank you.